so much for joining in today, Dinesh. And it's actually a privilege to learn from you.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Prabhu, for inviting me. And hi, everyone.
And for the audience, like who are joining on a Valentine's Day evening, so Dinesh is the CEO of ConfirmTkt, and ConfirmTkt is an online rail ticketing platform uh, which does more than 3 crore in revenue each day, with more than 10 crore users. So it's so we are all excited to learn about your the growth journey, Dinesh.
Okay. So those numbers I need to correct. I think that's we are almost like 2.5 to 3x of that size now. That must be pre-COVID. Yeah. Uh, yes, I mean, very excited to share the learnings. On how we have grown. I mean, it's almost like 9 years into this journey, and mainly it's a product first approach that we've taken. So I think it will be more insightful. We'll keep it more engaging. Also, we'll give more time for people to take Q&A also.
Sure, sure thing, Dinesh. So before we dive in into the growth aspects, would like to understand what are the three major use cases which Confirm Ticket actually solves for its users, Dinesh.
See, ConfirmTkt evolved into a train ticketing booking platform now. But initially, there is one most important use case that we started as a company is predicting waitlist tickets. Like back then, 9 years ago, there was no platform as such which was doing that. So that's the most important use case, which actually helped us to gain more user traction, right? So that's one use case. And once we launched prediction for waitlisted tickets, we felt there is still a lot of room for people. I mean, there is people are not getting tickets to travel. So that's where we launched alternative options. So there are multiple flavors of alternative options which evolved over a period of time. So I would say this is the next best feature. And the other most important thing now we are improving more into ticketing experience, like the how do we give the best ticketing experience with all these features combined at the same time, get more into more feature, like you see free cancellation feature, you see multiple other features on confirm ticket which are for the first time that were launched in the industry, right? So I mean, it keeps evolving. Like every 4 years you keep getting a new feature. That's like, I mean, what we say is like, it's all cycle, right? Even if you launch something, there's always after 2 3 years people will keep replicating that feature, because that's a useful feature. I mean, that's with any industry that's happened. So we keep innovating in that regard.
Interesting, Dinesh. So,
Yeah.
what were the insights which actually led to this waitlisting prediction or alternate trade routes or the free cancellation feature, like which you mentioned?
For the waitlist prediction, right? It's uh, mainly users where I mean, there is a lot of uncertainty at the last. I mean, people usually have whether they can travel or not. That's the most important thing which we solve with the waitlist prediction. I think we have very high accuracy of upwards of 90% levels, where we say like if it gets confirmed, it gets confirmed. And majority of the employees who joined, they have been customers with confirmed ticket. Like they've used it, they know that it's highly usable feature, and that's the most interesting this thing. Uh, and with alternates we launched. I mean, if you look at alternates, right, it's as a product, it has something like a same train alternate feature, where it tries to break your journey and gives you an option to travel where. Uh, like say you're traveling from Bangalore to Hyderabad, it can break like Bangalore, Hindupur to Hyderabad. You can travel. So so that's important thing. Um, that's how we break the journey, and you can give you a ticket to travel where you can travel in two compartments, and you have free cancellation feature, where like if user, let's say even in Tatkal tickets, you book on anywhere else, you actually if your plans change, you get zero refund there. Where if you cancel the ticket, right? So we said why not give an insurance premium to that, similar to flights, and let's people will pay, and then if they want to cancel, then they get full refund, right? That's how it is evolved, and over a period of time, all these have very beautiful. I mean, people the stickiness to all these products. There is huge repeat rate. All of these guys actually, all these features are like the core features of ConfirmTkt. I think these are main drivers also. Even for the revenue, the free cancellation feature actually helped a lot in moving forward in that regards. Kind of.
Amazing, Dinesh. And when you started up, there was already IRCTC where agents and users were comfortable with, and there was this transition happening from a counter to IRCTC, right? So then, how is the transition happening from IRCTC to ConfirmTkt, and why? Like if a user books on ConfirmTkt, wouldn't go back to the old state.
So for first 5 years, we were not into booking at all, right? We were like, I mean, we are fascinated by all these things like Facebook, Google, and all, where you have a lot of users, you get money out of it, right? So without ad revenue should be sufficient. Then once we figured out ki it's not sufficient, the CPM rates are very low in India. Then we need to invent, I mean, find out a new business model. That's where we started selling more ads, or selling direct ads, selling food on train with partnering with multiple guys, selling hotel tickets. I mean, a lot of things we started, but thing is nothing picked up. uh, we were with I mean, it was getting saturated at some point. Like the revenues were not growing at scale that we were expecting. uh, and then I mean, after 5 years, then we thought, like, let's try out train bookings. We don't know whether it will work out or not. We were not confident that user will pay an additional convenience fee of 20 rupees. That was actually stopping us from launching before also. So we were reluctant whether user will pay additional 20 rupees for this for any convenience, right? In a country like India. Uh, and everybody was saying like people don't pay, like, I mean, at that stage, like before for 3 4 years, kind of, like when even everybody who entered the market, even Netflix, Amazon Prime, everybody was facing the same dilemma whether people will pay or not. But I think we are in a lucky stage where the income levels are increasing, everything started picking up, even UPI penetration, Geo, everything helped us. uh, so we have noticed a pattern that people are okay paying the fee if you have better product, right? That's one interesting insight. And people are really surprised. The people in the industry are surprised that we have grown at such a pace, even though there by the time we took license, there were around 15 to 16 odd players who already have license, but they were still struggling at even to break even, right? And we have showed a way, like how do you innovate in the pricing strategy or innovate in the strength, so that you reach a scale and then you become profitable, and then it's all upward phase, kind of, from there. That's an interesting journey. And yeah, yeah, I think by accident only we got into train ticket bookings, but that once we figured out that this is the way to go in terms of revenue wise, this is the only thing that's actually. And then we started innovating in that front, like how do we uh, club the entire experience of alternates, prediction, everything into booking. How do we add more relevant features to the users? So a lot of things we at the same time, the margins are so low here. So we need to make sure we optimize it accordingly, right? That's how and give user a premium experience, right? So the railway customers are they're okay, kind of. I mean, it's not like they expect a lot. They want the best. It's not like they want too much great UX or something, but they want the best thing to get done at the same time, not break anything, kind of experience. So that's where we innovate a lot in terms of uh, basic things like making sure he has the payment, he gets the refund, he understands it, he does his first payment. All of these things we keep innovating a lot.
Interesting, Dinesh. And like I've heard that there is a culture in ConfirmTkt that people actually call at least one customer each day. So looking back, how did this actually help? And is it
So,
still?
so basically, I think so. We have grown team in such a way like all of us used to join. Even during COVID phase, we used to join a morning meeting in the morning. Like every 11 o'clock in the morning, we used to meet everyone. And every day, one call we used to play from the previous day customer support. We have a customer support team that handles almost like 2 to 3 thousand calls on a daily basis. Like one call we pick and we used to play in the morning meeting, and that's how we come to know the user empathy, right? I mean, how do we I mean how users are facing issues with some uh, minor things also will make a lot of difference, right? If people are not able to understand what we are saying from the developer point of view, it might be different, but from the user point of view, let's say simple thing like uh, let's say you will get your refund in 10 days. Like users are very angry that why will I get you refund in 10 days? So that message we need to change in such a way कि, uh, if it is UPI you get in like 30 minutes maximum. Then we need to split the message in such a way that he understands. In terms of some government banks it takes time, but we can't generalize the message. We need to again proactively correct that messaging. So these insights you keep getting by listening to the users, right? That's the most important thing.
Amazing, Dinesh. And as a ConfirmTkt caters to a wide gradient of audience, like with different languages and demographics, like any challenges which you faced in this journey, like scaling up.
So we tried things like, I mean, we tried vernacular approach. We in between we also tried if we can add a chatbot thing. But chatbots doesn't work with e-commerce. We figured out slowly. Like, I mean, if people are okay with doing the small minor steps, and it's easy for them with the traditional UI to display multiple information there. They can scroll and select trains. That's one interesting thing. At the same time, we also support 8 languages, right? We also support eight
Hmm.
languages for they can actually navigate through the app. But personally, also, I believe that people are getting educated, and eventually, you don't need to support. There's no need to support also, and but we need to make our UX also in such a way so that even if there is low language, even if user needs to know it, like just like even WhatsApp, everybody uses, even though, I mean, even if it is English, everybody uses it. It's like it's human intuition, right? So you need to build the product in such a way that easy to use. Like if you look at our product when you come for the first time, like there is no ad or nothing. Like, I mean, you it straight away takes into the booking funnel. It guides you the entire thing, like how do you complete the steps like that. So each funnel is highly optimized. Like we have the best in the industry, kind of like uh, for nobody would have expected that for a service like train ticketing, you will have that world class UX and UI that we have currently.
Got it, Dinesh. And talking about the acquisition and the growth of ConfirmTkt. So, like, where did the initial traction actually come in for ConfirmTkt?
So as we said, right, first 1 year almost we had only basic feature like prediction and stuff like that, right? And for first 3 4 months it was very dull. I mean, very slow period, I would say. And but one thing we did right is like we launched our app as soon as we launched on the web. So back in 2015, when Julio is also not launched, Android is also in basic stages. Like we figured out like mobile is the way to go, and we launched, and then we started iterating that stuff. And for post, I think we don't have money to market also, right? This is not even generating money. We thought we'll reach a lakh users a month, and we'll think of making money out of it. But till the time we said like we're not going to monetize that. So my other co-founder Sripad, he was in US. He was actually sponsoring most of the money. I and some more interns were working on this thing, right? And initially there was low traction, and at some point we used to send articles to every newspaper. I mean, that they will publish or something. But one fine day, there was a sudden spike in the users. Actually, it used to be like max like 3 4 users simultaneously using the app, but all of a sudden we see like more than 1,000 users, and at some point it almost reached up, right? And we were not sure what's happening, and luckily server didn't crash, it was just slow. So then we figured out that one of the leading newspapers published us a story on ConfirmTkt, right? uh, and just after that it went viral. Like we got the sudden jump of like 10 to 20x that day, and we got confidence that this will work, kind of thing, right? And post that, I mean, first leg of journey is that, like, when we uh, then we are still focusing on product growth. We are very low. I think Sripad was mostly sending it to the newspapers and figuring out stuff, kind of thing. And post certain point, uh, then we started also marketing the product, like we post sometime. But that's a hard reality that we realized, that we initially thought for the first 1.5 year we started building so many features. We pushed so many features into the app, so that we thought that will take care. We had a large product pipeline for 3 4 years, but there is no user growth or something in that direction, where we thought that will automatically come in because you have the great product. But it doesn't work that way. So that's where we started marketing product, kind of thing. But thing is, you need money even to market, right? So basically, we raised to run for funding, but thing is, it was getting saturated. So you always have, unless you build a cycle, right? You can't have marketing dollars keeping from your investor money all the time. We always believed that we should not burn money in such a way if it's not sustainable, right? We need to make at least the amount of money we are spending for that user, like CAC has to be, we need to get it back from the user. Unless we figure that out, then it won't be viable, kind of situation. So that's where after I mean, we were exploring all business models like 4 5 years. When once we got into train ticket bookings, we were able to achieve that finally thing, like LTV higher than CAC, right? So that's the inflection point. Like, I mean, if you have like, if you figure that out, that you put unlimited money and you get that back in 2 years, then there's no stopping point, right? Then you just keep pumping money, you get money, you keep pumping money. That's how we have grown. Like, I mean, 3 4 years we have become leader in this space, the largest time ticket booking in the company, and that keeps growing. I mean, there are also marketing challenges, like where do you put money, how efficiently you put money. The CAC keeps increasing. You need to also make sure, let's say you have 2% conversion rate, you need to double that up to make sure the CAC comes down, right? All of these things, again, product team needs to work. It's a cycle, right? So once you have that growth cycle, that's where it will be more exciting, kind of thing.
Interesting, Dinesh. And like when you move from 100% product to like 50% growth and 50% product, like what were the initial set of activities which brought in like 0 to 1 lakh users per company?
So initially it was all like, we used to share on our personal Facebook. We used to share with all the friends, and email to everyone, spam everyone out there. I think that's how we got the first few users, right? We used to participate in all the events that are there. In Bangalore, there was an event, then we got some second prize there when we pitched there. Then we that day we got some few users. So we did all junk stuff. Like, I mean, I mean, today if we launch confirmed ticket, I think whatever happened in the first 2 years, we would have got maybe in like 10 15 days or so. But it took time. It takes time. We are also inexperienced. I mean, we are also, this industry itself is like, we have done it for the first time. We don't know what's going to happen. Like, uh, so that's how it is. Like, uh, so that's so slowly. I mean, one by one, it just picked up, kind of.
And how did these linear channels, like say newspaper articles or publishing or featuring on the Play Store, which brought in like a certain number of users actually, like how did you leverage on the top of it after the intensity has slowed down to build in growth from the users like who have actually come in?
Uh, I didn't get you. So you were saying like how did you capitalize on the sudden push that you got from the
Yes,
Play Store
yes, yes,
featuring, right?
yes.
So I
Yeah.
think we got featured somewhere in 2017, 2016 or so. Basically, every time some major event happens, right? Let's say featuring on the newspaper, you get a sudden jump. Let's say your average level is like this, you get a sudden jump, and it goes down, but it doesn't go to the same level. It just stays here,
Mm.
and that will be your new baseline, right? So that peak and that baseline almost remains the same. I mean, we figured out that, I mean, if there's no new growth coming in from any other channel, but the baseline remains the same, because you have the people coming back. Like you always have that repeat rate, right? If that is not happening, then there is always constant degrowth, right? So, but one interesting thing we figured out lately, like last 4 years, an interesting pattern is happening. So pre 2018-19 levels, we were actually got obsessed with uninstalls. Okay, so what happening, like users were uninstalling a lot, and we were not sure why are they uninstalling, right? That then after an year, this thing, then we figured out like the average user mobile itself is staying for 18 months, and users are bound to uninstall, and ours is a travel app, they're not going to use it every day, and when they travel, they're definitely going to install. So today, we do upwards of 60-70,000 installs, right, on a daily basis, and out of them 40 to 45% are reinstalls itself, and people who already downloaded the app. And so far, we almost we have like 7 to 8 crore users already downloaded ConfirmTkt in the past. Like, so majority it's all re-downloads that are happening now. We see. So we stopped tracking the uninstall rate for 100%. So now we are not even tracking that. We only tracking like how many bookings are happening from that particular user. How is the retention cohort on terms of bookings? He might be coming from app, next time he might be coming from web or other platform, anything, right? So that's how we are tracking now, kind of.
And what were the growth loops which were deployed for exponential growth towards like 1 lakh to 10 lakh and 10 lakh to like a crore and 1 crore and beyond?
Yeah, so before we got into the this bookings, right? We feel it's that's the growth was always I would say, I won't say stagnant, but we were growing whenever there's a new event happening, kind of like app store feature, something we were happening, we were getting into baseline, and it was getting stable there. uh, so the organic growth was there, at the same time repeated growth was there. So we have a set of customers who were just staying there, and most important is like this train ticketing universe is very large. Like you have large SEO universe here, right? So we spend a lot on SEO, you get a lot of traffic there, and you convert them to downloads. That's how the second set, I would say, like 1 to 10 lakhs to 10 lakhs to 1 crore, I think all this came from that pool, organic pool. And beyond that 1 crore download, I think it took us like 4 5 years just to reach the 1 crore. From there, maybe in 1 year we would have crossed the next 1 crore, but that entire period is mainly into organic only. We didn't push much money into this thing. Hardly we raised 1.5 cr capital total. uh, that's very small amount with the amount of fundraise now is happening, but uh, so with that amount, you can only do limited this thing. Then once we became profitable and we started generating enough revenue, then we started plowing that money into growth, and that's the cycle. uh, so there are multiple growth cycles people have, right? You can have viral cycles, people call, right? You can actually have the cycle with money, you can have the cycle with any viral loop. Like if you have a, let's say you have a referral feature which is a virality feature, definitely that's a viral loop that you create, right? But end of the day, that has to be positive, where that keeps increasing, right? You just need to figure that out. That definitely, I mean, if you have a product which is loved by the users, definitely anybody can do it, right? But that has to be done. But product alone won't do anything, I would say. Like There are a lot of growth things you need to do. You need to make sure you have the basic sanity also, right? Let's say you have Play Store reviews, which are like uh, at some point we have our Play Store reviews dropping, and for 6 months they were just dropping. Like we used to have like 4.5, 4.2, 4.1. We thought it will go to 4.0 or something. It was in 2018, 19. That's when we figured out ki only users who have negative experience were writing the review. Positive experience, they don't even bother to write anything. I think now everybody implemented certain features where like they block good negative guys, only positive guys they send to the Play Store. Okay, please write us a review kind of. We also did similar story at that stage, like and we our user, I mean the reviews improved our post that, right? You need to have such basic things like also the screenshot has to be good. You need to have the best conversion rate in terms of landing on the Play Store page to all of these things needs to be improved, and you figure out a cycle. I mean that's how it all works, right? You figure out a cycle and making sure it works, like all the things needs to be properly placed.
Okay, so was it something like from like it was organic, where from SEO people were installing it, and once they install it, their LTV is helping us to better the SEO to bring more people in, or how did it?
SEO is lot independent actually, and I mean previously the amount of downloads from SEO used to be a large chunk, but now it's like 3 to 4% of our the daily installs that we get. Now organic stands at like 60-70% of our user base, but these are all users. I mean majorly like acquired through paid or any other channel in the previously, right? So these keep coming in. Nothing but second time installs mostly are organic. First time are mostly into any branding campaign or anything that we do. Uh, so, but one thing I should say is like uh, if you need to scale faster, right? I mean, if you have a product in place, you definitely need to scale faster because any product will has a certain time frame or this thing saturation point like 5 years or 10 years, right? Beyond that point there will always be better thing, either you do or somebody else will do. Your thing will die for sure. uh, you will definitely need to invent into that, right? But you have a product that now that is ready for current set of this thing. You definitely need to scale it, either you put in money or you do whatever way, but you definitely need to scale as soon as possible, right?
Got it. Got it, Dinesh. And out of your the new installs, the believe about 2 to 3% are from the NHP population, like who are transacting for the very first time in their lifetime. Like, how did you build trust among them and break the entry barrier so that they can actually complete a transaction for the very first
So
time?
for these guys, I mean, so thanks to this phone pay, Google Pay, and all, who are actually building that first level of trust, actually, right? Making sure you can transact with UPI on any banking channel, right? That's the most important thing. UPI almost like we have upwards of 80% people using it, UPI as a play payment on Confirm Ticket platform, and Uh, we are the only company with a dedicated call center number that's displayed on the home screen for the first time users. They can see, they get the trust, they can actually call them and ask if they have any queries, and everything is seamless. Like I mean, they can actually they get complete guidance on how do you transact, right? Uh, it's pretty much like this thing, but it's also a wow factor for user, right? Somebody who is looking at train ticket for first time online, right? So it's a wow factor for him. Instead of standing in queue for a long time, he can book it at his home. That's an important this thing. So I mean, there are few challenges in here also, right? How do you? Uh, there are certain people who will have issues in terms of like maybe refunds if they're not getting. So there are like 20-30% users who call that they didn't receive refund, but they actually got refund. They didn't check the bank account saying like I mean they got it at certain point of time, or I mean some banks they might not even send the SMS. So they were still not sure whether we sent them refund or for the first time usually they call. They were not sure whether this company will refund their money or not. From second time they were like, okay, they are happy. Like when your ticket is cancelled, they'll definitely get the money kind of as soon as possible. And we also give them money before the railways gives us kind. So let's say somebody cancels. Usually railway settles us the next day, but we give them instantly in their UPI if they just cancel it.
Got it, Dinesh. And from a PMF point of view, like after the waitlist prediction, like when you crack the PMF, like how did you expand from it? Like is it adding more use cases or increasing the usage of the existing product itself or the intensity? So like how did you expand from the initial PMF?
See, PMF, if you have a right product or not, the way you know is like whether, let's say you have 100 customers, how many of them are repeating, right? Even if the base 100 is not even increasing, how is that how is the same users repeating? That's where you say, okay, I have the PMF, right? I have people actually using the product. Like, uh, so the gut feeling of me and my co-founder is even if nothing works out, okay, there are people who use it every day. We can put Facebook ads, Google ads in that. At least we'll get some basic things. That's how we resigned our jobs kind of, right? So uh, because you have that repeat rate, you are like, you cracked that feature, right? You cracked the PMF, right? And now the next challenge comes, like how do we increase the top level base, like that 100 number, right? Either you market the same product or you get this thing, right? But what we figured out, like the main problem that we tried to solve is we wanted to give users a ticket to travel. And even if you predict, like let's say you say to 10 people, like this has 90% chance, and out of 10 people 2 people book, and the percentage decreases post that. So remaining 8 people are left out without any ticket, right? That's where we thought we'll expand this universe. We want to make sure like we the expand this has to be increased. That's when alternative options came into play, where 20-30% inventory also increased in the same train. If it is going vacant, we are able to get. This is actually good for the industry also, right? The railway industry, we are able to fill seats in trains. So that actually added some more traction to us. Like I mean, the user base increased, the virality of users actually improved. I mean, with even with the waitlist prediction, there is a constant growth. I won't say it's just stagnant, it's just a constant growth. Like small growth was happening because of these users telling other users, right? uh, and that was there. But what happens is like uh, beyond uh, I mean, after you launch this thing, like after the second feature, I mean, the definitely business model needs to be kicked in. So again, once you start focusing on business, you need to also make sure like you don't compromise on the users, right? Let's say you show an ad, a bigger ad as soon as they land in, it again, it goes against the users, right? So both go hand in hand. At the same time, you need to also feed people, you need to also pay salaries. All of these things needs to be taken into consideration. uh, I mean, yeah. So the product market fit, I would say, like is only the first level. You need to have the best. Uh, I mean, the business model also needs to be fixed out, especially for an internet product. I would say, internet product. Let's say if you say Facebook is a product market fit before it even got into any ad revenue, I would say it's a product market fit. But once it's gotten its revenue flowing in, that's where it actually got become a profitable company, and it got scaled up. Uh, I mean, it all worked out as I mean, one by one, kind of. It's all layers, right? But one thing is, if the product market fit doesn't, it's not there. There's no point in actually going behind that. Actually,
So true, Dinesh. And Dinesh, like, when you're preparing for your next leg of growth from 8 crore and beyond, like into tier 2 to tier 3 towns and all, like, how are you planning for this? Like for the next leg of growth, and
see,
how do
I mean,
you?
certain things like. Even if you look at Google search, right? Google search, how do they grow? If you look at their example, right? You have certain people directly coming for Google, and there is a layer on top of it, like a browser, right? You need to go with browser, right? So that's how, to make sure, you also need to get into either build your better platforms which can work on this thing, or you also partner with multiple guys, right? So if you look at what's inside phone pay or google pay, these are very good penetrate, I mean, apps with high penetration in the two tier cities and all, right? Now if you see the train bookings in these platforms are confirmed ticket itself, like we partner with them to give users, if they want to train ticket, you also go that. That's one level of this thing. So next level is like, I mean, definitely marketing we keep doing, but starting this year we got into brand marketing, where in regional languages we get into. You would have seen our ad recently, right? So we in the regional language we want to make sure we educate customers that there is a platform out there where you can book a direct tickets. There is a hard fact, like still there is more than 30 to 35% people still booking offline tickets, right? That definitely needs to be changed. So we are still working on that growth journey, where we educate users, giving them the best experience. Also need to get confidence that we can do, right. So it's all journey. I see. There's nothing like uh, uh, rule book here, right? So something works for us, something might not work for us. Like it might work for your company, not work for us. So you need to keep experimenting, even if the branding experiment we don't know if it works or not. So you experiment with something. If it doesn't work, you try something else, maybe. So you keep doing that. If you know what's going to work for sure, then everybody can build the company out there, right? So you need to keep working hard and experimenting. That's how it works.
And any differences you see between the next set of users and your existing base?
Um, See, existing base. See, you there are multiple levels of this thing, right? There are first level of users who are like, they can try new things. They can actually, they're okay with any new product kind of thing. The next set of users are like, uh, they will come to the product after certain people coming. Like I mean, I think we have reached that stage where, and the third set of people are, they come only after everybody comes. I mean, even maybe I might also be in a similar, like where everybody moved to Facebook. I moved from Orkut to Facebook, kind of, to that kind of guy. But I mean, it depends on what kind of, if it is an interesting use case for you or not. But mm, but I'm saying, like, I mean, so the next set of users might be slightly tough. So the CAC, if you see, it keeps increasing when your scale keeps increasing, right? And you need to make sure your revenue per each booking, or the amount of money you make from each person you acquire, that base you need to increase, so that you get confidence to plow it more money, right? So sometimes it takes time. Let's say you wait an year for the next level of growth, and you want to increase the business model, right? So there are certain time frames in confirm ticket also, where uh, suddenly you have sudden less the growth that reduced, or something happened with certain things, let's say covid or something. So you stop improve the business model. Let's say we're only doing 50% of the bookings, but we need to make sure we make much profit from the each booking. How do we do that? So you invent on that, right? You just pause marketing, or you slow it down, and first you figure this out, then you go back to that, right? It's okay to not hurry sometimes, like but you need to make sure it's sustainable. That's the most important thing. But luckily, I think
And
even after the acquisition, we are happy that we're still working independently, and we have the flexibility to work in the terms.
that's amazing, Dinesh. And the monetization is something which you have cracked super well. So like, how did you invent your monetization strategy or identify it, especially when there are free platforms out there. So like, how did you convince the user to pay this extra amount?
Yeah, as I said before, also, right? Even we were not sure whether user will pay the convenience fee, uh, but we just went ahead, and we started. doing bookings, right? Initial month we had like hardly 50 to 60 bookings every day, kind of like initial first few days. Then it slightly scaled up to 100. People started liking it. They got better product, and slowly it went viral. And we started making money, actual real money from this thing. Then we started putting some money in marketing, and that ball kept on rolling over a period of time. And definitely we get uh, reviews, or we get emails saying, why are you charging me that additional 20 rupees? And we need to be patient enough to explain them. That's how we can give you service or things like that. And but one thing you should always remember, there is always a leaky bucket. So one thing we learned, like I think you met Parth, right? So Parth, Gagan, they handle product and they're pretty decent in this thing. And one thing we all work here on things like, we can't satisfy 100% users in anything, right? uh, Initially I was also obsessed to make sure, why are we getting this negative review, why are we getting that negative review and all. But finally when we figured out, like, if 95% people are okay, only 5% are complaining, it's okay to say, okay boss, it's okay, I mean, we can't make you happy. It's okay, we are okay with serving I mean the remaining 95% people, right? So once we got into that mindset, right, that's where we I mean, I think a lot of times we took that call, like, it's okay, let's say you launch this feature, okay, you make 10% more revenue, but you might lose 1% users, right? It's a tough call because you are losing a user there, uh, but we try to maximize in such a way ki, okay, you 10% you reduce it to 8%, maybe in 1% might go down to 0.5, then you experiment, and then that worked out. Like, I mean, even if there are cases where we lose users also because of certain features or certain things that we do, whether it's affecting revenue or things like that. But we need to make sure, uh, yeah, one simple thumb rule, right? You can't satisfy 100% of the users. It's also that we need to also make sure, like, product and business work together, right, hand in hand. That's how it is.
So, any insights on this discovery process of like when to charge, what to charge, and how much to charge for the users, like from your journey, Dinesh?
So I mean, all the pricings we actually do A/B testing. We do extensive A/B testing. We use a lot, but we mostly on Firebase A/B testing that we do. Uh, so we always use two pricing. Let's say I mean, 90% of the time we have gut feeling that this might be better or this might be better. Initially you don't have any data, right? So you take out two cases, or you take a base case, and then you figure out, like, you just do A/B testing. That's how it works. Like, at certain point there are five or six experiments, I mean, six funnels running, six different variants. Like, one of them might work out the best. Like, that's how you take it out, right? But yeah, last 3 4 years we got into a lot into making sure we do experimenting or A/B testing and prove anything, right? If something we know, like, if the gut feeling is true, then that has to be proven with the data also, right? So we make sure we does A/B testing, and we that works out, kind of.
And so, like, how was your journey to become a cash flow positive, actually? Because not many like, companies would get there. So, any learnings, like looking back at your
So, so,
journey?
so we have our investor Praveen, actually initial investor, right? He always used to tell us, always be lean. You never know what's going to happen. Always this thing, right? One interesting thumb rule he always used to say, if you're hiring a candidate, right, and make sure if he is into manager position, definitely he's into a leadership position. You just do this calculation. Let's say you're paying him certain amount, x amount, then you should get a revenue of 10x of out of him in a year. If you're not getting that, then it's a bad position, or you don't know how to execute or things like that, right? So we always make so that's one thumb rule that we always keep. But at the same time, we kept the team very lean. Whatever can be outsourced, we outsource. Like, I mean, uh, support team is outsourced now. Majority of the things, like I mean, even accounts were outsourced for a long time till recently. Uh, we are still a 35 people team, and we did upwards of 100 crores in revenue last year, and this time is much higher. So I'm saying with just 35 people team, you can achieve a lot. I mean, in being an internet company, you have that flexibility. You only need to work on computers. You don't need extensive investments. Also, any manufacturing sector is totally different. But for internet companies, it is very good. Actually, you are in very good industry where you can achieve scale with limited people, and that's possible. I think most important thing for any uh, cash flow thing is you need to be lean, and definitely from the day one you won't be profitable. I keep hearing some news saying some startup made losses, but that's okay because initially you definitely will have loss because you need to, either it might be for the growth, it might be for the R&D, you need to plow in some money. For the first 5 years or 6 years, definitely you will be in loss. It doesn't mean ki you spend 100 rupees to get 1 rupee. I don't know how all these calculations are like. It's not even, doesn't even make sense because definitely any company, if you're investing in that, like it will be in loss for initial period because that's how you keep the base ready, right? Once you have the base ready, you have the product market fit, everything, then after certain point of time you get this interesting thing, right? Your fixed cost, let's say your fixed cost, like people cost, everything will be constant in any internet company, but you can serve lot many customers with the same set of people. Let's say we are doing 10,000 tickets with 30 people team, 100,000 tickets also you can serve with the same people, same team. So let's say when you're only booking 20,000 tickets or 20,000 tickets, you are in loss. But once you achieve the scale, let's say 50,000 or something, then you definitely become profitable because your cost is limited, and you have unlimited this thing, right? Potential beyond that thing, you can spend some amount in marketing. You can give the free cash flows to plow in growth. Things like that will happen. Definitely, you just need to keep the team lean, and things will happen on themselves if you have the product market fit. Nothing else.
Got it, Dinesh. And interestingly, like ConfirmTkt has experimented a lot with food ordering and everything out there. And so, like, how do you go about the process of thinking of an experiment and placing your bet on it?
So food ordering, it did not work out for us actually. Basically, like 5 years back, we partnered with the company and we were actually doing experimentation with them. So it's all like, as I said, right? We were doing everything that we can. We just want to make sure like that is making money for us or something. We are doing everything, and if that is working out or not, we need to also call users to understand like what's happening. But interestingly, with food, what was happening is like 80% of the times food was getting delivered, but remaining 20% it was not getting delivered. So users have this issue like you can't have somebody sleeping in the night without having food, right? Like, that's when we figured out like let's shut it down because there's no point in this thing. If I mean it's not even scalable also because uh, the NPS also was low. Less than 1% were ordering, even for the entire railways at this point of time. But now things have improved. I think we are yet to partner with a major company. We were only redirecting traffic to railways without me charging anything, but just to as a experimental basis. But now the things at their side they improved. I keep hearing numbers that, and we'll do something again on that front. But it's just that experimentation. Like you keep experimenting, talk to users whether they like the feature or not, things like that. That's the only way.
So, got it. And another experiment like which I have heard from you is that the app open to check out time has been about a minute, and voice could potentially reduce it like another minute. So like, how do you come up with those experiments and go about like yes, like this could be the future. Let's invest our time, energies, and money on this. Like any specific thought process here?
So in terms of app conversion, right, we always have this thing in mind. We check the entire funnel. Let's say there are 10 steps in the funnel, right? Each step we know the exact thing. I mean, we know in the memory itself like what usually is the percentage. Let's say from passenger details to the payment, it's usually like 78% or 79%. if yesterday it went down to 65, why is it down? We used to usually check that, right? But as a important KPI, we as a product managers, we usually have that. We need to keep improving each funnel. Like we need to make sure it's improved, right? It can happen with multiple things. It can happen with, let's say, you removing two buttons, or you making it easy to enter passenger. You save his pre-existing details, or certain things like so if you look at confirm ticket, let's say you search, you say I'm traveling from Hyderabad, so the two will be auto populated with top 5 cities where people are traveling from Hyderabad. That's very much customized to the source city, right? That's an interesting thing which actually improved click rates, because user doesn't need to type. There are so many such things where we need to make sure it's easy, faster, right? So that actually improves, right? Every step you understand the user and figure it out. That's the way.
Interesting, Dinesh. And I think I'll ask the last two questions before we end it off. So one thing is like after your initial first NASCOM
Mhm.
event, where you received feedback from investors around that this product should actually be sold to the government, or like you cannot make money in this sector. So like how did Sripadan and you sit down and analyze this like right after the event?
I mean, I mean, there are so many things in any other entrepreneur journey. Like some people will say good things, some people might say bad things. But thing is, you never know what will work at some point, right? We were just lucky. Also, you might feel ki everything worked out at right time, right? One thing I regret, because not by personally, but a lot of people actually give up before actually trying multiple times. That happened with let's say we went for 5 years, we actually tried multiple business model and finally trying ticketing works. But there might be people who actually, after trying 4 years, they might think there is no way to make money out of it, like let's shut it down and move back to the jobs. It was very lucrative jobs back then, when every startup is offering a lot of money and things like. But but we got a great team which was actually sticking to us, like that we will try to figure it out, kind of thing, right? We were always having our back, right? So uh, I mean, we were figuring things out. Like, I mean, we were always sure, like at some point it might work out. Like, you never know. Like, always say, like from now, if you see, you can actually look back and connect all the dots. Like, why that happened? Why an investor rejected? If an investor wouldn't have rejected, maybe we would have taken so much money and burnt everything, and finally we would have shut down. We don't know. So, I mean, things are okay. I mean, we say everything happened for good. It's all it's an experience. Like the journey is an interesting experience in any startup, right? More than the outcome. So that's an interesting thing.
Great, Dinesh. And with the Ixigo regulation, like how do you look at providing more value, like especially in small towns? Like how do you look at hosting train ticketing in small towns?
So Ixigo, I mean, with Ixigo, we created a broader group actually, right? With Ixigo leader in flights, we into trains, and Abibus is into
Avivas.
buses. We have a great group actually, right? There are a lot of things which are common across, wherein like we can share a lot of resources. Let's say, confirm ticket users can book bus tickets there. Abibus users can book train tickets of using confirm ticket. Things like that are very much we have a good penetration. And uh, also it is like it's all I would say the business model is like recession proof or things like that, right? Because you have, if something is down, there is always something to back, and you have a good this thing. uh, in terms of user penetration, you have a combined large user base now, whom you can retarget, or you need to make sure you I mean, you can actually cross sell stuff. A lot of things can happen with the combined user base, right? and that's the most important thing. And users also needs to have that trust with a larger capital infusion, with larger things like you have uh, yeah, I mean, with definitely it comes with you just need a lot of trust over a group, right? And with the large history, it actually plays a good role in everything, in their decisions mainly.
Interest niche, and I hope that like IRCTC has been a multi-bagger with 300% profitability, and with ConfirmTkt drafting its IPO hopefully with Mexico. I think it comes out really well, Dinesh. So any
Yeah, yeah, thank you so much. Like, yeah, so as a group, we definitely planning for something like that, but I can't comment anything now. But we definitely, as a group, also we are in a very good state shape, like with all the three verticals growing at a larger pace. Uh, it's we are in a great state. I mean, if you have noticed the last quarter results of all the travel companies, right? They're exciting, like that. I mean, nobody would have expected this during COVID period, like how it is. Like, people are traveling like anything, like it's all yeah, it's a golden period, I would say, for people in the travel industry. So definitely next, it is nothing will it's going to stop. Like next 2 years people are going to travel like anything. It's all revenge travel or whatever we can name, uh, but people are traveling like anything. I never expected that hotels will always it will be full, but there is a day when your hotels are also full. Kind of on weekends now, you don't get hotels like if you don't book in advance. Like it's, I always thought you can directly walk into any hotel in the city and it will be your weekend, but things changed now. Like,
those are really amazing insights, Dinesh, like from your growth and from your startup journey as well. And thank you so much for your time, Dinesh. And like anything else which you would want to share as a final note?
Nothing, Prabhul. I mean, basically, like I would say one comment. I mean, if the people like, please don't give up, kind of, and I think more PMs here. So we need to make sure users are the most important people actually for us, right? So make sure like users are happy. Making sure that we always need to make sure they have positive things, right? So that's most important things that we need to figure it out.
Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you so much for your time, Dinesh. And like if you have questions from the community, we'll list it out and we'll
Yep.
share it with you, Dinesh. Thank you so
Yep.
much.
Thanks so much, Prabhu. Yeah. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you so much.